So good timing for you to come on the show because you were at the Oscars and that's all anybody is still talking about. I'm still curious. How did you get to the Oscars? Like, why were you invited to the Oscars? If it's an obvious reason, I apologize. But I'm always curious who gets invited, how, like, what's that process?
I mean, that's also most of my comment section right now. And most of the other TikTokers' comment sections is like, why the fuck is a TikToker at the Oscars? If anyone is getting an invite from the Academy to the Oscars, I think you're going to say yes to it regardless. But anyway, the Academy asked for a group of TikTokers to come and kind of post about and cover the event. It was kind of the first year that they did it, so there weren't like very strong guidelines of what we were doing while we were there. But me and a few other of my friends were directly asked by the Academy to go and then just kind of view it all and post some content. And so that's why I was there. Definitely not, I was not linked to any of the movies exactly, but it was a good time, a very interesting night.
I mean, it makes sense for the Oscars to be doing this, right?
Totally.
Like bringing in a completely different demo. That's what I don't understand with these comments. Like people freaking out, like, why the fuck are they there instead of me? It's like, they got a couple million followers. They're probably going to promote it, bring some viewers to the Oscars.
Yeah,
Totally.
Yeah, just like the Met Gala this year.
Exactly.
People always freak out. That's the number one freak out when people get invited to the Met Gala.
Right. And I think what the people also don't realize is that the Oscars and the Met Gala kind of want people, they're not mad about people freaking out or being angry that TikTokers are there. If anything, you're just making the noise louder and you're going to watch these events regardless, you know? So I read those comments and I'm just like, I don't know, where's your invite?
Okay. So then, that's the perfect lead-in of what you just said of like, they're not mad about the comments. Obviously, Will Smith, the slap of Chris Rock. There's so many, this is the first time we're talking about it. Yep. Do you think the Academy issued an apology the next day? It's all anybody's talking about.
I didn't see that part.
And what's that?
I didn't see that the Academy issued an apology.
Yeah. By the way, I love how we keep calling it the Academy. Like even you, like the Academy reached out. Like, do you pick up your phone? It's like, hey, this is the Academy.
Yeah,
it's like fucking X-Men. Yeah, it's like X-Men or some shit.
It's like a group of 20 people around a table, and they're all like using voice distorters.
Like, hooded, like you can see their face. Like,
yeah.
So who
issued an apology.
Actually, what do they do? Just a person like, hey, this is Joe Schmo from the Academy, or
I mean, no, it came through my agent saying
that
the Academy reached out. If I had a name, I would probably be saying their name, but I don't.
And they'd probably kill you if you did that.
Yeah, exactly.
They did issue they're like, sorry, there's no place for it. We should have reacted better. They said they're launching an investigation. I don't know what the hell that means. Like, what do you have to investigate? It's pretty clear what happened.
Yeah, everything was recorded.
Everyone on TikTok just did an investigation for the last 12 hours.
And Chris Rock said he wasn't going to press charges. So it's like, what are you going to investigate?
Right. So you just said, based on like, Chris, like the feedback of people complaining is noise. People are talking about it. The Academy Awards is an old show. Everyone's talking about it. So do you think they are happy, mad, neutral on what happened?
I mean, it's tough to say on that perspective and not to speak for the entire Academy, but it's like it does make a lot of buzz around the show. And I think maybe as producers who are just looking at numbers, I wouldn't be happy if they are like maybe quietly a little happy about I think I said I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't at least a little quietly happy about what's going on, while knowing they need to front face with the fact that there was an assault and we need to be mature about this and talk about it in a way that is very PC. But I mean, once you're in the world, you know that most things just revolve around numbers and viewers, and I think they can't help but to maybe look at that in a different way than the average person would.
So we got to go around the horn. We haven't talked about it yet at all. There's been people on both sides of this. So there's people like, Jada has the hair alopecia or whatever, the disease. You can't go after it. Will Smith defended his wife. There's people, obviously, it's assault. It's a joke. Calm down. Bree, where are you at on this?
I think everyone here at Barstool is on Chris's side, and
I think I saw a tweet from you.
I think I'm on Will's side. I don't
That's
know.
crazy.
I think a joke. Okay, maybe the assault part. No, I think him like screaming at him was fair, and like Chris Rock's joke at the expense of like what she looks like. I think it was stupid. If you're gonna make a joke, at least do it about the cheating.
That's so much worse, though.
But
I feel like that's way worse.
Everyone's joked about that though. Like, why joke
Not
about
to
her
Will.
alopecia? That like a woman is obviously going to be very sensitive about that.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna want to be sitting in front of like 100 people, 200 million people watching, and then he's like, "Ha! Remember when August fucked your wife?"
But
You know what I mean?
someone earlier in the show, I forget who it was, made a joke towards that already.
Like
Really?
you don't, but the thing is, Chris Rock's a comedian. They've had stand-ups, whether it's Ricky Gervais, Chris Rock. These are celebrities. People say stuff about them all the time. A bald head, she's a beautiful woman, regardless. To be honest,
Yeah.
when I heard the joke, I thought it was more because they're making fun G.I. Jane 1 stunk and she was in it. Like, I didn't know she had the hair disease. But if Will Smith doesn't react, there's not one human, I don't think, in the world who's like, whoa, did you hear that Chris Rock alopecia joke? And there's been other jokes made by, I think, Chris Rock. The internet never loses. Like, somebody dug up like a super old clip of Will Smith making the same exact joke like years and years ago. But, you know, to go up and slap somebody in the face,
It's
you're
crazy.
unhinged.
It's
You're like
crazy.
a lunatic. You can do anything. You're capable of anything.
Also, I think if that was anyone else in the world, like Will Smith is the most beloved actor ever. If
Right.
it was anyone
Yeah.
else, it would be like he'd be arrested on scene. It would be he wouldn't have won his award. I think because it was Will
Right.
Smith, people don't really care that much.
Well, that's the thing. I love Will Smith. He's
Yeah.
like my favorite actor ever. So it's hard not to like ride with my dog. You know what I mean? But at the same time, walking up and slapping someone in the middle of a show, it's a little bit crazy. And
there's
yo,
no chance.
Chris took that slap though with a smile on his face.
Listen,
I was
I
He
pretty
still-
ate
impressed.
that. He ate
I was
that.
I
pretty
still
impressed.
think there's 5% chance it's fake.
Ah, okay.
I've slow-moed the slap. I just can't get over. And the only thing I have is what's the, like, I guess like Chris saying, any news is, any publicity is good publicity. But I swear he moves his face before he gets slapped. Like,
Also, they're both
to move
laughing
with it.
after. They're both like laughing. If you look at like a screenshot of both their faces, Will
Yeah.
turned around.
I think
Chris
the
after
Will-
the slap, they're both just smiling. Like,
I think the Will smile and laugh is like a devious psycho laugh. Like when people are like he laughed at the joke, I think he was like laughing like, oh, I'm gonna fuck you up.
It's like when you're really uncomfortable
Yes,
and you
yes.
just start kind of smiling, laughing, but there's like rage building
Yeah,
up
you're
inside
plotting.
of you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Chris, being there, I don't know how close you were to the actual stage. I assume they didn't put you in the front row, but
yeah. Nosebleed
What
vibes.
was the vibe? Like, did you know what happened?
Yes, I was just a lot of people. So, like, one thing I didn't realize is that a good amount of the audience just kind of like gets up and leaves during commercial breaks and doesn't come back until a few commercial breaks later. So, there were a fair amount of people that literally weren't in the room when that was happening. But I just
Imagine.
decided to kind of sit and watch most of it. And when I saw him start walking up, I was like, oh, they're doing a little thing.
bit, yeah.
Something is happening. And then the slap just looked too real, and so everyone like got a little confused because it was like that we would guess that was a fake slap based on the fact that everyone was just laughing. But I mean, he really took it. And then when the yelling started happening, they didn't mic him, but you could hear it throughout the entire theater. Like his voice was echoing through the room, and everyone got really silent. I mean, you can see like Lupita behind him in most of the clips.
Yeah.
She's kind of laughing until she, with the rest of the room, realizes like, oh shit.
you see her face
That's-
kind of start to like go
Like kind of slowly fall.
But yeah, she
and
saw
then
it
you
go.
realize that slap wasn't fake and it was really real. And then you're like, well, that was a fucking hard slap. And then you realize that this is not, that we're not joking anymore. So it gets really silent. And you can feel like Chris Rock's anxiety of how to move forward in that moment of just like, do I laugh through it?
Yeah,
And
he handled it like a champ though. Like I've
Yeah.
never seen someone be like more professional in a moment than I think Chris Rock after he
Yeah.
got slapped.
But I mean, the tension was high for the next, like, for a good chunk of it until Amy Schumer finally, like, acknowledged it and was like, is the energy different in this room? What happened?
Yeah.
Like, we needed her to do that much earlier for the sake of, like, most of the room. But it was an intense moment for sure, because you just had however many thousand people sit in that theater feel very silent and tense, even through the next commercial break.
You must be. Well, I don't know. I would be like, I'm psyched it happened. I think it's funny. Like people are like
Awesome.
assault, jail. It's like,
Oh,
it's a
yeah,
slap.
yeah.
And
Yeah, it
you
was a
get the
slap.
benefit of being like, I was there. People are going to remember that
it's-
slap.
That's going to go
forever.
down in
Crazy.
history.
Yeah.
TV.
It's like the Kawhi Leonard shot to send Toronto Raptors to the
any-
And then he
championship.
won.
It's
And
like,
then he won the
wow.
Oscar.
Yeah.
It's like it's
And then the
I know.
speech, he's crying. So were you right away like, fuck yeah, this is like the best Oscars ever?
It was definitely in my head that I was like, well, I mean, if I were at any, I'm glad I'm at this one, even
Yeah.
if I never go back again. But it was just like the moment it happened, so many texts started ringing in because I think on most channels they muted or they stopped playing what he was doing, and I was like, no, that was real.
Yeah,
that was real.
I texted Blake. I texted Blake Gray because
Oh, yeah,
Blake
he
was
was-
there.
he was
yeah,
right next to
yeah,
me.
yeah. I
Yeah.
texted him right away when it happened. I was like, dude,
What the
is
fuck?
this shit fucking real? Like, did you hear this? He was like, yeah, we could hear the slap, man.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was watching it live and I'm, again, maybe that's a shot at my age, but because everyone's like, oh, of course you'd watch the Oscars, old man. But I was watching it live and I was so convinced that it was a work, like staged. I didn't
Right.
even go on Twitter. I'm like, no, there's just zero chance.
That was real, yeah.
Like 10 minutes later, I'm like, let me just go check. And then I think it was Australia. They had the Australia footage.
Yeah.
And you
Yes.
heard Will Smith like yelling.
Yelling.
Now,
Yeah.
Will Smith is a certified Looney Tune. Like, listen, I grew up on him as well. I'm not that old, Fresh Prince and all that stuff.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I mean, he's gone down the Scientology path a little bit. His kids are insane. The red table with letting you sweet. So, like, if a crazy person's going to do it, it's him. And there's no chance. People have said it. Like, if that was The Rock, there's no chance he gets up and do it.
I was saying that on
Yeah.
my live stream yesterday. I was like, there's Chris Rock, but if it was Dwayne The Rock Johnson saying the joke, he's probably looking at Jada when Jada has that mean face on her, like telling him, like, hey, get up there, go defend me. He's probably looking at Jada like, hey, sorry, girl. The joke was funny. Laugh at it.
Yeah,
Joke was
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
But if he's crazy enough to do that, I feel like he would do it to anybody.
Right.
No. This
don't know.
crazy
If he's-
and then
It's
his-
tough. Well,
Well, you just called him the craziest person ever. You don't think he would
Yeah.
do it to The Rock then? If you're
Well, the
that
craziest
insane,
person
then you're
ever
that
would
insane.
do it to The Rock. That's true. That's a good point.
There's crazy to think like you can get away with anything. And then there's crazy like, well, I know that guy will beat me up. Like he got away. And I, by the way, I don't think I think anybody at the Oscars in the front row could have the same result. Like the Oscars, like people are like, why didn't security come? Why didn't like who would, if I'm security and I see Chris Rock Will Smith walking up to Chris Rock,
You think
I'm
it's a
not like,
bit.
let me jump in there and get in the middle.
Yeah.
It's not like a random stranger running
Right.
onto the field. It's an
Yeah.
A-list celebrity, you know?
yeah.
And
he-
about as A-list as you can get, too.
Right. And he was also like literally the closest to the stage that you can sit. Took him 2 steps to get up there. So there's not much time for everyone to process like, oh, okay, Will Smith is getting up there. What's going on? Like we didn't have this in our original program or something like that.
Yeah.
So
It was also the most perfect slap I've ever seen in my life, though. He followed
that
through.
was
And he did, then he, of course, he does his fake apology after, like 2 days after the long, like violence. Meanwhile, it's like a long Instagram post, but he's actually getting jiggy with it, like that
He
night
got
dancing.
so jiggy after.
He was jiggy as fuck, bro. That shit was crazy.
Now, truth be told, I am a huge Chris Rock guy. Like, I bought one ticket in my life for a stand-up
Yes,
comic.
you've
It's
said
him.
this.
I think he's a genius. And I want revenge for him, assuming we're going with the real thing. Like, everyone's said he handled it gracefully. He did. He clearly did. I wish he went after the infidelity right off the bat. And now I'm hoping he does a 2-hour bit on it. Yeah. So
You're hoping he just goes double down,
And-
does an entire
and-
Netflix special, like, okay. What if
He
they
hasn't
host like
said
a?
anything.
What if they bring back like the Comedy Central roast?
No,
And
didn't
they just do a
Something like
Will
that.
Smith roast?
Didn't he tweet my gums? Was that real? Chris Rock tweeted my gums like took the blow of the slap.
Oh, I didn't see that. I don't know if that's real. I didn't know he did anything.
No, yeah, it's real. He tweeted. It was funny. So he's clearly running with it as a joke.
yeah.
And I also think, like, I just don't think anybody can get that mad about alopecia. Like, tons of people have it. It sucks. You lose your hair. But a lot of people have it. There's been jokes made about it a lot. I do think he's probably at a boiling point with the other stuff.
I think
And it's just-
that's what it is. I think it's just there's so much that's probably been added onto this guy's plate with the wife and everything. It's just like it's just like a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, it has to be. So outside of that, what were your thoughts of the Oscars? And I guess that's the main thing.
That's the only thing
Yeah.
I've watched. That's literally the only thing I watched about the Oscars.
I mean, if you Google just the Oscars, that is all that
you can
shows up
find.
right now.
Yeah.
I mean, even from the night after, that was all that was showing up. But other than that, I thought it was a great show. I thought it was interesting how like Will came back to the fact that he's like, it's kind of because of my role that this happened. Because it's sort of, it feels like a cop out in a way, but it's also like I am just so into my artistry. So you're like, okay, I'm not really sure how we as an audience are supposed to absorb that, other than thinking like, I guess you're a really good actor if you're still in character.
Yeah, that's
But,
some crazy method acting, Will.
yeah. It's like I think you're supposed to drop it once you wrap on set. But I thought that was a really interesting thing that he was bringing up at the end while like, going through.
He
tears.
did make some type of joke. It was kind of like jokey, right? When he said it, like
Yeah.
he was like, I guess I am the crazy father, like King Richard or something like
Yeah,
that. Like
I mean,
he said something along
He
those
was
lines.
like definitely a favorite to win. So I'm sure after that moment happened, he's in his head thinking like, what the fuck am I gonna say now if they do happen to call my name? And like the last thing is, I remember right after it happened, and then Chris Rock has to come forward and like read the nominees. It's like Jada and then his co-star from King Richard and then one other actress all were like surrounding him at his chair, just like holding him and like comforting him basically after whatever just happened. And I don't think that part was on camera, but I was like looking down over the balcony just to see what was going on, because it was definitely just like he was an angry guy that had like three women kind of like holding him down and holding him back. And I think that was like that just added to the tension of the moment and the realness for sure.
If I was Chris Rock, I'd been like, who has my side? Like everybody was like consoling him. He's getting like a standing O.
He was
All did
playing
was get
victim.
slapped in the face. And that joke, comedians make jokes. I keep saying it, but in the scheme of mean jokes, that was not that mean of a joke.
No, it's
It
a
really
sad.
wasn't.
It's a scary time to be a comedian. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, comedians are at this point known like you're going to make a problematic joke and it's probably going to be ripped apart at some point. But Chris Rock had to like only get after the slap. He had to walk basically closer to Will, and like he hesitated for a second because I was like, is he really going to go forward, or is he about to say like have someone else present this at this point? Because at that point when you're presenting, you're literally 2 feet away from where Will Smith was sitting, so I can't imagine.